Hi guys, it has now been a few months since LOREEN and Sweden won the Eurovision Song Contest 2023. During that time, we've been able to enjoy the sunshine, speak to a few friends, or the most common hobby for Eurovision fans, try to deal with the post-Eurovision depression that every Eurovision fan suffers every year, but can never figure out how to deal with. Seriously, I've been taking 2 paracetamol a day, and yet my head still constantly tells me. But on top of that, this period has given us time to reflect on the Eurovision year that was, and the many WTF moments. Seriously, more than any recent Eurovision year does it feel like more wacky, crazy, and controversial stuff has happened during the national final season and even Eurovision itself. So today, I thought I would take you on a journey, a recap, if you will, of the 2023 Eurovision season and all the highs and definitely some lows. I'm Harry Briffer, and this is Eurovision 2023, the year of WTF. If you enjoy this video, make sure you like and subscribe and join Eurovoxx for much more Eurovision content as we head into MALMÖ 2024. Back in May 2022, Kalush Orchestra won the contest in Turin for Ukraine with the song Stefania. While there would usually be a quiet period for Eurovision news after this, we didn't even have time to say ciao ciao to our last host before the EBU moved the country that the next contest would take place. Yes, the EBU announced for the first time since 1980 the country that won the previous year's contest would not host the following year. This was of course due to the uncertainty of Ukraine's ability to safely host the contest due to the ongoing war with Russia. The EBU instead offered the contest to the 2022 runners-up, the United Kingdom, with them later accepting. What? I was excited, come on! So with the host city announced, it was now time for Eurovision fans to enjoy the quieter period of news. Maybe look at what cities are potentially going to host next year, speculate if any countries are going to return. Hey. Where the frick did she come from? That's right, in early July, even before the UK confirmed they were hosting the contest, Israel confirmed that Noah Carell would be representing them. After failing to qualify for the final in Turin, Israel announcing their artist this early felt a little bit like a little kid who just lost a game of Monopoly, immediately wanting to play another one to avenge that loss. No son, you must wait for all countries to be ready before we play again. Now, despite only being 21 at the time, Noah Carell even back then was one of the biggest artists in Israel. So for fans, this announcement felt too good to be true. Which it almost was. During a radio interview, Carell revealed that she hadn't actually said yes to competing at Eurovision yet. So it turns out the Israeli broadcaster drew up a list of 78 names that they thought would be good to take part in Eurovision based on recent chart success. And they debated these names without even asking any of the artists whether they would like to go to Eurovision beforehand. Thankfully, Carell eventually said yes, stating her Eurovision performance was going to be... Following that, we started to get all the usual beats of a Eurovision season. Liverpool was announced as the host city, with everyone being very happy. What? The EBU revealed that 37 countries would be taking part in Liverpool, with Bulgaria, North Macedonia and Montenegro all withdrawing from the previous year. Sorry, Anissa. And after a couple more artist announcements, we started to get to the good stuff. The national finals. The reigning champions, Ukraine, kicked us off in December by hosting Vidbir in a metro station in Kiev. At times during the show, you could actually hear trains moving above them. Now, something like this would definitely not happen in the UK, and that's mainly because train operators would probably be on strike, so there'd be no trains running while the national final was taking place. I must say, considering the conditions, the Ukrainian broadcaster did a fantastic job with the production quality of the show. It still looked and sounded better than a few other national finals this year. Looking at you, Romania, Ireland, Czechia, San Marino and Moldova. Then we went to Albania, which featured one of the artists announcing they were pregnant after they performed, and the actual winner of the contest not actually going to Eurovision. Up next, Belgium returned to using a national final, and this is arguably where the biggest WTF national final moment happened so far. 7 acts took part in Eurosong, and while there was no official odds for the contest, there was a general feeling amongst the fandom about who was going to win. Shireen and Gala Dragut were the favourites to win, while Amira and the Starlings were dark horses for the crown. There was some buzz around Hunter Falls before the contest, while victories for Lodana and Gustaf seemed unlikely. So naturally, the winner was Gustaf. That's right, to the surprise of pretty much everyone, Gustaf was chosen to represent Belgium at Eurovision. Even he was shocked. Despite the initial shock, the song actually ended up growing on a lot of people and finished 7th in the contest. Good on the daddy in the hat. After that shock result, thankfully we did not have to wait too much longer for our next WTF moment.
I remember you.
Ireland. You're going to feature quite a lot in this video. Back when Ireland revealed the 6 names competing at Eurosong, not to be confused with Belgium's national final we just covered with the same name. No, Belgium's winner actually qualified. Anyway, when they revealed the artist, one in particular stuck out like a sore thumb. And when I say sore thumb, I mean like really sore. That would be Public Image Limited, fronted by former Sex Pistol and controversial figure John Lydon, formerly known as Johnny Rotten. One day, literally one day after being announced to take part in a contest where the winner goes to Eurovision, John Lydon said, and I quote, "It's absolutely awful." This is about Eurovision, by the way. It's absolutely awful, the songs. The whole thing of it is disgusting to me. I'm a songwriter. I perform live, and these shows just come across as so dreadfully phony to me. But look, we're giving it a chance to break out of that mold. Yeah, he seems eager to win, doesn't he? Sadly, despite beating artists like fan favourite Adji, old Johnny Boy was not given the opportunity to save Eurovision, finishing in 4th place. Thankfully in Hawaii, hello and goodbye mean the same word, so I guess it is aloha to you, John, and aloha to you, John. Okay, so now we're on to the main portion of the national final season, and with any good national final season comes some memorable performances. Who can forget Noah Carell's Estonian auntie?
Ooh, 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 unicorn vibes. Ooh, 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 make me feel fine. Ooh, 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 unicorn vibes.
The extra from the Super Mario Brothers movie. The Polish woman who's... she couldn't move more than 1 mile an hour. And pretty much most of what Malta produced.
All my girls get down.
Put it down, work it out, run this town.
All my girls get down.
To the ground, up and down, queens and crown.
Speaking of Malta, they had one of the biggest national finals this season, with 40 artists competing in... wait, what? 39? Why 39? Oh, yeah. Me playing that song doesn't count as extra advertising, does it? Not long after performing in the quarterfinal, PBS announced that last year's MESC runner-up and fan favourite Aiden was disqualified from the contest due to breaching rules on posting promotional content on social media. This led to a fractured relationship between Aiden and the broadcaster, which would surely take months, even years, to fully heal, maybe even slightly heal, and with PBS's ruling definitely having an impact on Aiden's ability to perform on Maltese TV. Or he would just be back as an interval act in the final, because who the frick even knows anymore? Not far from all this, in Italy, Marco Magnoni won Sanremo for the 2nd time, winning a Final 5 vote that can best be described using the following.
Men, 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 manly men, 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 manly men, men, men.
Men, 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 manly men. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
I mean, 6th place was literally called Madame, like, come on! Now, sometimes when a contest crowns a new winner, the previous winner does some sort of gesture at the end of the show, whether it's a handshake and a photo, maybe passing the trophy over, or even giving them some flowers. That's not what I meant, Blanco. Meanwhile, Vesna won ESCZ to earn the right to represent Czechia. Eurofans were worried that the band wouldn't be allowed to take part in the contest due to one of the band members being Russian and the contest being hosted on behalf of Ukraine, but thankfully that wasn't an issue in the end. Elsewhere in Europe, Alessandra won Norway's Auto-Tune Grand Prix, Melody Grand Prix, slip of the tongue. Pete Jacks won San Marino's national final, which also featured Albania's 2022 artist Ranella compete, and then failed to qualify for the top 10. And aside from that, it also featured a man literally getting changed on camera. I mean, he was just showing everyone he had the full package, I guess. I mean, maybe it helped the jurors, I don't know. And finally, in Denmark, their national final was won by 19-year-old TikTok star Riley. Hang on, that doesn't seem right. Let me check. Oh, 25-year-old TikTok star Riley. And of course, how can we forget the Eurovision legend herself, LOREEN, returning and winning Melody Festivalen for the second time with her song Tattoo. It was an amazing performance. Let's be real, it was good. Let's, you know what? Shall we see it again? Let's see it again. Oh, that was the wrong clip. He won in the end, it's fine. You know, with all this talk about national final WTF moments, I don't know, I feel like I'm missing one. I've misplaced my notes. Where are they? There they are. There. I'll be back in a sec. One second, I'll be back. Hang on. I've got them in. Alright, we'll have a quick read. Hang on. Yep. Yeah. That was kind of crazy, wasn't it? I mean, seriously, how could we actually forget the drama surrounding Poland's national final this year? As much as we, to an extent, probably all want to. In the competition, which featured a performance too bootylicious for you, babe, featured a controversy concerning matters at the other end of the scoreboard. Talking about the other end when also referring to a song called Booty doesn't feel right, does it? See, going into the contest, the favourite among fans in Poland and across Europe was black paint-loving Jan with his artistic, theatrical song Gladiator. And when I say fan favourite, I mean fan favourite. Like, there was serious if Jan doesn't win, Poland riots vibes going into this contest. When it came to the live show, while Jan clearly didn't have the best vocal performance on the night, he still performed with a lot of charisma and passion, receiving the loudest reaction from the live audience. Despite this, Jan would fall short of the Polish crown, losing to Blanka and her song Solo. While all of this seems like pretty standard national final heartbreak, a lot of fans thought there was something a bit fishy about this result and decided to conduct their own piece of research. See, a couple days before the show, Polish broadcaster TVP decided to change the way the points were allocated to artists from percentage-based to rank-based. In short, this meant despite Jan receiving 3 times more televotes than the second-place artist in that category, he would only receive 2 more points, turning a potential victory from a near certainty to one that relied more on his jury score. And the jury didn't seem to appreciate Jan smashing his competition, as they only ranked him 4th, with their winner being Blanka. This combined with her second place result in the televote led to her victory. But here's where we get to the main issue the fans had with the results, as they couldn't believe that Blanka won the jury vote fairly. I mean, I don't know what their issue is. Blanka had a stellar performance, including some amazing vocals. Okay, maybe they have a point. It later came out that among the Polish jury members was Augustine Igorola, who allegedly worked a lot with Blanka on her national final choreography. Furthermore, the head jury member Edyta Goniak also had a connection to the winner, with her son dating Blanka. Not gonna lie, that probably would have been quite an awkward family dinner had Blanka not had won. Would you like some of the spaghetti bolognese, Blanka? I would have preferred the trip to Liverpool, to be fair, stepmom. That's what I really want. But yes, I'll have the spaghetti bolognese and some parmesan as well. Thank you. Sprinkle that on. Yeah, perfect. Thank you. With all this information, fans concluded that the contest must have been rigged to cater to Blanka and to provide her an easy path to victory. With the people of Poland feeling betrayed, they took their frustrations out on Blanka on social media. To be fair to Blanka, none of this was necessarily her fault at all. Like, as I said in the thing, she probably would have been fine with the spag bowl. With parmesan on top of it. Thankfully, in the long run, Blanka wasn't harmed too much by this controversy, even making the narrative her own by wearing a dress at the turquoise carpet which said, "Baby."
I did see a B.
Yes, maybe.
No, it says baby. I'm fairly certain it says baby. That is brilliant.
Can someone confirm or deny this?
No, I swear that's a J. Yes! Brilliant! Brilliant! Best outfit. Brilliant.
She would also later qualify for the final and finish in a respectable 19th. Okay, I feel I should end this part with something witty, clever, or even profound. Let me think. Sod it, let's just play that clip again.
Baby.
One of the most iconic sounds of 2023. Okay, well, in that section we talked about a national final result where the runner-up seemed a lot more popular than the winner within the eyes of the fandom. But what about those national finals where the fans are thankful the runner-up didn't win? In Iceland, there was the Elvis tribute band whose song title rated it higher than the fans.
Okay.
The wildcard comedian in Germany, who made a song called Blood and Glitter, seemed like a mainstream and sensible option. And who can forget the band of 6 old men dressed like dictators who strip down by the end of the performance and sing a song about tractors? Oh no, wait, that actually won.
Mamma kupila traktora. Mamma kupila traktora. Mamma kupila traktora.
How can we talk about WTF moments in 2023 without talking about the entry that got Croatia back into the final for the first time since 2017? Fun fact actually, you know their 2017 entry? This guy?
There are only 2 ways to live your life.
He's tied with Let Free for Croatia's best result in the contest since 2010. A fact I'm sure Croatians wear with as much pride as an old suit that they don't really like but have been forced to wear by their parents because it's their grandpa's favourite suit. Also, a side note, their grandpa, for whatever reason, doesn't wear trousers, only underwear. Or maybe they actually like both of those songs, I don't know, this is just one man's opinion. Back to Let Free, the famous Croatian band took to the Dora stage with their satirical anti-war song, outfits that resembled Joseph Stalin trying RuPaul's Drag Race, 2 fake missiles, and a stripper performance that probably made Croatian children on edge next time they saw their grandparents start karaoke. In other words, probably not things you're going to see in this version of Dora. Now, look, over the last year, I haven't been the kindest to this song, to say the least. Mainly because I can't stand it. I think it's absolutely horrible. But, to try and balance out my thoughts and make it more equal, let's say, I have comprised a list for this video of all the things that I like about it. And it's in this pad here. Let's see. It ends. I did try, I promise, I did try. So we've covered a WTF entry that was overall negatively received by the fandom, or at the very least, me. But there was also a WTF entry that won their national final and was received a lot better. Something a bit crazier, and something definitely more party. Sorry, force of habit. Yes, in UMK 2023, one of the best national finals of all time, by the way, there was a green bolero wearing pina colada loving Finnish man by the name of Karja, who won over the hearts of people in Finland and around the world with his electro rock disco pop song Cha Cha Cha. The chaos within this song was matched on stage with a performance that included 4 ballroom dancers with teeth sponsored by every whitening product in Finland, a section where Käärijä mounts the dancers like a majestic cowboy riding off to Liverpool, and even golden confetti raining from the ceiling at the end. Or as I said in the UMK livestream, and then the golden shower at the end, not my finest hour. Käärijä ended up winning UMK by 386 points, and everyone left that show feeling that Finland could have a potential winner on their hands. Hang on. Potential winner? Potential winner? Po. Yes, over on the internal side now, and there was one question on everyone's lips.
Who the hell is Edgar?
Austria's Taya and Selena sent a fun pop song that had bizarre and at times comedic lyrics, but also had a serious undertone and meaning criticising the amount of money songwriters make. Now, when the song was officially released, the reception was actually very positive. However, before this, going into that release, the expectations were very low for Austria, and this isn't because they were on a 3-year non-qualification streak, it was actually due to an outside source. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present one of the stars of the 2023 Eurovision season, ESC Crystal Ball. Throughout the season, a Twitter account called ESC Crystal Ball leaked things such as national final artists, internally selected artists, and even sections of songs. Crystal Ball was sort of like that guy that always tells you that your family's about to throw you a surprise birthday party. It's fun at first to know secretive information that you're not meant to know, but then after a while he tells you over and over again every time your family is going to throw you one of these, to the point where you're just like, guys, I want to be surprised for once. My family doesn't even throw me parties anymore because of this. Birthdays can be very lonely, not gonna lie. Anyway, as I mentioned, one of the things Crystal Ball did was leak songs to the public, and one of the ones that he did leak was a less favourable snippet of Austria's song. This live snippet of the song was not received well at all, with even Taya and Selena saying in interviews that it made the song sound like a joke. Thankfully, once the full version was released, fans changed their minds for the better, with even ESC Crystal Ball becoming like an Austria fan account, almost as a way to apologise for the negativity they brought upon this entry. Don't worry, ESC Crystal Ball, that initial negativity definitely died off, just like your leaks did in March. Please do not come back next year. So now we're into the internally selected songs. Let's just rattle off a few more before we get into the next section. The UK selected May, not Riina Sawayama Muller. Greece decided to go for this year's youngest artist in 16-year-old Victor Vernikos. And Armenia decided to go for Brunette and her song Future Lover, which was actually written by Brunette, Twitter, and Tumblr. And with that, all 37 songs were selected. So at that point, it's time for the pre-parties. This is usually a chance for artists to work on their performances, speak to the Eurovision press, hey look, it's me! And also interact with other artists, building bonds and getting closer to them. Oh god, no, not that close, Connor and Bojan. The pre-parties are also a chance for the media in the participating countries to cheer on their acts, supporting them from the sidelines and wishing them good luck for the contest in May. That is, unless you are the Dutch media, of course. In that case, you criticise your act's pre-party performances to the point where the head of delegation actually agrees with points you are making and forces the acts, well, the acts do it themselves as well, but forcing the acts to change the key of their performances in the hope that they will improve their chances of qualifying. Spoiler alert, it didn't. Once pre-parties were done, it was time for everyone and everything to travel to Liverpool for the contest. Well, apart from Ireland's creative director for being transphobic, and Latvia's outfits for being racist. That last reason is not confirmed. To be fair, at least it wasn't one of the band members saying or posting something stupid on social media that got Ireland a lot of criticism. This time. Then rolled on the rehearsals. Due to the press not being allowed to see run-throughs, that's fine, we didn't want to do live streams anyway, One of the main ways that fans and press were able to fully encapsulate what the rehearsals were like was through the blog on the Eurovision website. And TikTok, I guess, but I really do not feel cool enough to talk about TikTok too much. Is this one of the dances they do? I think it is. I don't know. One of the features of the blog was asking the contestants a question before they went on stage. My personal favourite answer came from Slovenia's Nace. When he was asked, "What is the most British thing you have ever done?" Nace responded, "A girl from Brighton." I mean, that perfectly sums up Joker out, doesn't it? After 2 rehearsals, we got to see 30 seconds of each performance, giving us a glimpse into who was going to potentially exceed expectations and who was going to struggle. Well, all performances apart from the UK, that is, as they didn't release theirs due to technical issues. These technical issues sounded like a drunk uncle had snatched the mic from the backing vocalist and sung the song to appear "Down with the Kids" to his niece. Word.
Instead I wrote a song about how you did me wrong. I could have cried at home.
And of course it isn't just the artists who have to rehearse during this time, as the hosts and the crew have to practice how each show is going to go. This year featuring a new system of announcing the qualifiers, with every act standing on stage, waiting anxiously for their name to be called. Oh no, wait, the EBU scrapped the idea after one rehearsal because everyone hated it. Then after all that came semi-final 1. Malta sadly came in last place, receiving only 1, 2, 3 points. The Netherlands and Azerbaijan failed to qualify for the first time in a few years, while Ireland suffered their 4th consecutive non-qualification, which I have on good authority here that the lead singer Connor took really well. Oh no, hang on, wait, my notes are upside down. Really bad. Meanwhile, at the top, Finland won the televote-only semi-final over odds-on favourite to win the whole thing, Sweden. Finland winning a televote over Sweden, that definitely will not come back to be a controversial talking point later on in the contest. Then semi-final 2 came rolling in, with the main surprise being fan favourite entry Georgia failing to qualify for the final. Yes, despite the thing being known and substantially upgrading from last year. Georgia still couldn't qualify for the first time since 2016. At the other end of the scoreboard, Australia's Voyager won the semi-final with 149 points. Now, surely winning a televote-only semi-final meant Australia this time were finally going to get a high televote score in the final, right? No. Oh, I guess not. Then, after all the build-up, came the pinnacle of the season. The culmination of all the chaos. The finale of this series. The tale as old as time. The song as old as rhyme. I'm talking about the Eurovision Grand Final. Excitement leading up to the event was at a fever pitch, with media outlets from around the world covering the event, including our own BBC. Oh, for God's sake, who left the intern who doesn't know anything about Eurovision in charge of interviewing people? In the actual show itself, the artists use a wide range of colours to demonstrate their act, such as red, and 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 red. After all the acts performed, along with one Dustin the Turkey, Peppa Pig and Mel Gedroich churning butter later, we arrived at the results. The highlight of the jury points, apart from any points the UK received being celebrated like we won the World Cup of course, was Greece's points. Because Cyprus dared not to send an artist with connections to the Greek music industry, they only received 4 points from the Greek jury rather than their annually contracted 12. How dare you vote fairly for once, Greece? We could have got top 10 with those 12 points! In the televote, the Big Five bar Italy had an interesting night. Germany's televotes meant that overall they finished last for the 2nd consecutive year, despite fans thinking their song was much better than previous years. The UK finished 2nd to last, coming back down to earth. Well, we had 1 year. Time to say everyone in Europe hates us again, media. While possibly the biggest surprise came from perceived dark horse to win Spain, who came last in the televote with only 5 points. While most people reacted to this with a mixture of shock and confusion, most UK fans reacted to this with the following. Yeah! Not last! Woo! Not last in the televote! Not last in the televote! Not last in the televote! Yeah! Woohoo! Moral victories! Look, we're British Eurovision fans, we'll take what we can. Then we come to the self-proclaimed mother herself in France's Lazara. Another fan favourite that didn't do as well as previously expected, France only received 50 points with the televote. Now, while higher than other members of the Big Five, it's a score that Lazara didn't seem too happy about. Now, while it seemed like Lazara was being rude to the audience, it came out later that the action actually represented more whatever or not really caring about the result. Well, that was the official reason given in the statement. However, I've uncovered some outtakes of what Lazara potentially was going to say was the meaning behind that middle finger. And I'm going to present them to you right now. Roll clips. I was simply showing support for my favourite Eurovision winner of all time. Greece is my number one. I recently saw Germany's 2021 entry and clearly just got confused on how to present the fact that I don't feel hate. Oh yeah, I was simply telling the audience to f*** off. I was letting the audience know that I had dropped my middle finger ring and now I cannot find it. Seriously, can someone tell me where my middle finger ring is? Anyone! Anyone, please! Yeah, I think they went with the right choice. At the end of it all, Sweden's LOREEN won the contest for the second time, beating fellow Nordic country Finland despite Croatia receiving the joint third highest televote score of all time. An outcome that, at best, received a mixed reaction online and definitely in the crowd. Oh wow.
Okay, we're going to speak to Chiara in Lugano.
After the contest, many Eurovision fans took to social media to say that the result was unfair and that the system potentially of juries and televotes should be changed. You got to understand, in the last few months, it has just been swarmed of social media with so many messages about this. Look, if you want to know my thoughts on the televote jury debate, head over to the most recent episode of the Eurovoxx podcast, hosted by me. Yes, shameless plug, I know. And there is also several videos across YouTube that dive into the televote jury dynamic much better. All I will say now is, by the current rules, LOREEN and Sweden won the contest fair and square. God, I'm sure someone's going to comment even on that small part, aren't they? And that was Eurovision 2023. But at the end of it all, which country arguably was the most WTF? Now, a lot of people will probably say Poland in this scenario, but I feel like that was more an isolated incident that spread to be something bigger. No. For this country, we need one that I haven't actually talked about yet, but has had several WTF moments that are just bizarre. That's right, my pick for the most WTF country in Eurovision 2023 is... I mean, really, who else could it be other than Romania, whose entire 2023 campaign was one WTF after another? I feel the best way to describe Romania's 2023 Eurovision campaign is just simply reading off everything that happened between the national final and the actual performance. Like, strap yourself in, this might take a while. Broadcaster TVR released the videos of the 12 songs competing in Selecția Națională, with some videos displaying the video and audio quality of a 12-year-old making a YouTube video on iMovie called My First Video. During the national final, the LED for Ocean Drive stopped working. Theodore won the national final with a performance that included women in lingerie and not one, but two outfit reveals. Per Theodore himself and Romania's team couldn't agree on the staging or even the style of the song. Again, per Theodore, he wasn't allowed to see the stand-in performance, meaning he couldn't give feedback to help improve the staging. Then the Eurovision performance itself was a combination of an acoustic and studio version of the song, featuring such great imagery, such as LED Theodors lying in a pool of blood, and a woman painting Theodor with paint. Hey, at least we got some element of Jan at Eurovision. Get in, Polish fans. This performance resulted in a non-qualification, receiving 0 points in semi-final 2. And that's just all the stuff that definitely happened. Whether you liked Theodor's song or not, it definitely feels like he was done no favours by the people that mattered. It's like that saying, don't let a bull into a china shop, except the broadcaster who owns the china shop also owns the bull and doesn't care about the china he is trying to sell. In summary, Romania's 2023 season was a shit show. And that concludes Eurovision 2023, the year of WTF. I hope you all enjoyed this dive into last season, and I am very excited to see what this next season brings, if it's the same level of chaos or not. I guess the most fitting way for me to finish this video is by saying, I've been Harry from Eurovoxx, and this is...